Hi, I'm Christy with the Comstock clan, and today I am here to share with you my morning routine. For all of you moms out there who don't do a very good job of taking care of yourself, I know exactly where you're coming from. I was awful at it, and I thought that I was doing the best for my family in the way that I was sacrificing myself, and I got really sick because of it. So if you're not sick, I encourage you to build some good habits so that you don't make yourself sick. And if you are, this is when it's really important to make time to actually care for your body so that you are able to take care of your family. As a mom of 7 kids, I realized really quickly that if I were to try and make time for myself throughout the day, it's kind of difficult to do. And so carving aside this time as a morning routine, making time for my time with God, my mind, my body, and my marriage, it takes care of all of the big things that I want to make sure that I'm prioritizing on a daily basis. It allows me to put first things first and make sure that I'm prioritizing things that very easily get pushed to the side when they're left to do later in the day. So I start by waking up somewhere between 4:30 ideally. Every once in a while I'll sleep in till 5 and kind of do a condensed version of this. But I start by taking my temperature first thing in the morning, and that is just to kind of give me some insight as to what my body is doing hormonally. This is not something that I've done in the past, but in the last year, I started taking my temperature, and it's been amazing at how insightful it is with just to recognize how my temperature reflects my cycle, but also just other things going on with my body. So I feel like it's really valuable information to have. So from there, I usually get up, I go into the bathroom, I go pee, and I grab my phone. One thing that we stopped doing a few years ago was bringing our phones to bed. So our phones get plugged in the bathroom. So I grab that. Another thing that I do sometimes if I am, and I'll probably go back to this, is I will use a tablet instead of my phone, and it is a tablet that is dedicated to be my morning time, and it has my morning time apps on it that do not include any social media, doesn't include email, doesn't include anything that's going to give me an outlet to the outside world. It has a Bible app on it, the prayer app, I guess it has Audible, a podcast app, and Kindle. I go crawl back in bed. This is something that I fought for years. I had this belief that because I had a nursing baby that generally kept me in bed for much of the morning, that I was not able to do Bible time or time with God like I wanted it to be. But over the years, I've kind of just grown to be okay with that and realize that Bible time doesn't have to be sitting down at a table and have a study book and a Bible and a journal and all of that sitting there in front of you, and that it can be something as simple as your phone or a tablet that just has the Bible on it that you can read. So I use the Bible app to read and go through the Bible. I just use it as a quick and easy way to mark my progress as I'm working through books. I just finished Job, and I'm in Ecclesiastes right now. From there, I also have an app called PrayerMate, and I go back and forth on using this and not using it. You can set it up with cards and categories and specific prayers and all kinds of different stuff to help walk you through your intentional prayers that you want to make sure that you're being reminded to pray for on a regular basis, which I think is great because if I don't use this, I can go months and just not even think about praying for my husband or praying for my kids for certain things. And I believe that prayer is powerful, and I don't want to be held to just, what I'm feeling in the moment in my prayer. Okay, so once I am done reading my Bible and spending some time in prayer, I will get up and head into the bathroom. This is where I focus more on my body, but I also will kind of continue the trend of working on either my faith or my mind by listening to either I listen to Through the Word, which is kind of a Bible study app. I will sometimes listen to a podcast. Sometimes I will listen to an audiobook. So what I will do in the morning in the bathroom is I will turn on my bright light. One of the things that we learned about when I was sick is the importance of sleep and your circadian rhythm. And one of the things that helps strengthen this is having bright light coming into your eyes. I usually will take my glasses off in the morning, first thing after you wake up. And since we do usually wake up pretty early, the sun is not out, and so just going outside for a walk is not really an option. With the bright light on and the red light on, and usually some sort of book or podcast or something playing on my phone, I will take off my clothes, get on the scale. Again, this is another one of those things that I did not used to weigh myself on a regular basis. And I have learned the value in just having that information. So from there, I will do some foot physical therapy exercises. So what I have here is called a toe pro, and doing these exercises helps strengthen my feet. Since I started working with the physical therapist for my feet, I have gotten to the point where my little toes are as strong as they need to be. They're supposed to be able to withstand, I think, like 9 pounds of pressure. I believe that they were at like 3 when I first started, and I think that they are at like between 11 and 13 now. My big toe, you're supposed to have, I believe it's like 10% of your body weight. And I am almost there. Like I think tripled the weight that my big toe can handle. Super complicated. If you need some help with your feet, I highly recommend Gait Happens. Again, that's another link that I will include in the description below. So from there, I also do something that is called retro walking. This is also part of my foot physical therapy. Just you put this stretchy band around your ankles and basically walk backwards, slowly engaging your glutes and then stepping down lightly. So from there, I do some of my core rehab exercises. I do a deadlift with a exercise band, and then I also do this twisting exercise engaging my core to try and strengthen that. I also generally do some stretching. Specifically, I always try and make sure that I do my arm stretches to kind of open up my arms. I have a tendency to hunch over and slouch, and so just doing that exercise to pull everything back open and out, it just feels really good. So one thing that you will notice that I do not do in the morning is that I do not take a shower. I generally take my showers at night before I go to bed, and I do not wear makeup. This is something that I just never got into. I think that when I was a kid, just adding in the time to put on makeup never really seemed all that important to me. And as I got older, it became more of an intentional thing, not just because I didn't want to take the time to do it, but I really believe in authenticity, and I don't want to have 2 versions of me that you're going to see anywhere, like at home or on camera or any of that. and I would rather just be consistent with who I am. And so I personally do not care for makeup. I would rather just present my whole self as God made me. And I want to say that that's not said with any judgment. I know that probably, I don't know, a large percentage of the population wears makeup. So that's just something that is a self-conviction, intentional thing for myself. After I'm done with my exercises and stretching, I will grab some essential oils. If I have any sort of rash or blemish on my face or an ailment of any sort, this is just my point in time where I can use oils consistently. If we've been out or if there's a lot going on, I will make sure to put oregano and frankincense on my feet. And so it's just kind of a whatever is needed for the day. This is also a point in time where, although we do have that red light, we also have a cold laser where if I've got anything going on that needs like direct attention, I'll use the cold laser at that point in time. Lastly, I will brush my teeth, and I use the Oral-B electric toothbrush along with Redmond Clay earth paste for my toothpaste. From there, I turn off my lights, get my clothes back on, and I head out to the bedroom for my daily check-in with Kevin. And this is something that has been just probably the number one tool or system that I can contribute to the improvements that have happened in our marriage. I do believe that God has taken us through a number of different circumstances that He has used to grow our marriage. But if there's one thing that we have done that we can take some credit for, I would say that it would be having our daily check-in on an almost daily basis. I would say that we probably have a daily check-in about 320 to 30 days a year. So we very rarely skip it. And honestly, like we generally will even just have a shortened version of it. But because it can be done, it could probably be done in about 7 minutes if you're doing it consistently and you don't have any big things to talk about. We sometimes take an hour because we just talk about other stuff. So our daily check-in includes starting with a Devo. We go over 4 questions together. We discuss our schedule. We have a little bit of time set aside for any other conversations that need to take place. And then we finish by praying together. So I am thinking that we will probably share a little bit more about our daily check-in in the very near future because it is one of those things that is so valuable. So lastly, I will spend a little bit of time, if I have it on my mind, and what that looks like generally. The best thing that I know to do that is efficient and productive and actually allows me to examine my thoughts and do something with them, be aware, like bring awareness to them and make a conscious decision of whether or not I want to keep those thoughts, is I complete this thought download process. And from there, I will then pick out any thoughts that I believe warrant doing a steer model on. Again, this is one of those things that I could talk about a lot longer in explaining. So I will try and make sure that we pick this up and talk about it more in its own dedicated video in the future. And I have to be totally honest and say that this is not something that gets as much attention as it deserves. If I'm behind, which 9 times out of 10 I am, that's usually what will get skipped out of my morning routine. And I know that there is a huge difference when I am actually regularly taking the time to do these thought assessments and examine my thoughts and pay attention and address them accordingly, as opposed to when I am just kind of going about my day and just allowing whatever thoughts to run rampant in my mind. That is about it for my morning routine. If you have any questions or ideas, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.